Give me a sense of how it looks to you from the vantage point of one of the most successful and largest e-commerce organizations in history.
Vantage is a position of advantage, or it's a position where somebody can get a good view of something. Usually people have a vantage point, which means they have a perspective which gives them an overview that other people may not have. And then they can use that perspective, that better view, to their advantage. So a vantage is a place or position affording a good view of something. The original meaning of the word is geographical, and it would typically be used in a military sense where somebody can get a good view of the battlefield. It's also used metaphorically to describe a position in business where you may have a better view of the market, or where you're looking at a problem and you want to try to change your perspective in order to get a better view of solving the problem. So you could use this for mathematics. For example, if a problem is arranged in such a way that it's very confusing and you rearrange the problem to make it easier to look at, that would also be creating a vantage point to explore the problem with. You can also use experience as a vantage point, where someone has been through similar situations previously, so they have a better vantage point to be able to look at a current problem and come up with a solution. So all the past years give a person a superior position in order to make a judgment. So normally the word vantage will be combined into vantage point to refer to the perspective or the position that you have. But technically it can be used with other words as well that have similar meanings. You could say a vantage place, or a vantage position, or a vantage view, or a vantage perspective, some way of orienting the concept of vantage to a place. From the vantage point of age, a lot of people come to the realization that a lot of things that they thought when they were young are actually pretty foolish, especially for older people. But maybe they were also foolish for younger people too. When you visit Chicago, a good vantage point is to go up to SEARS Tower, or also the John Hancock Center. And a lot of people just prefer to go to the restaurant because they can get the same vantage point, and they can get a drink instead of paying for the tickets for the observatory.
I think Aisha is a perfect example of what we're seeing in a lot of countries, young entrepreneurs coming up with leapfrog technologies. In the same way that in large portions of Asia.
Leapfrog is a game that children play where one child will sort of get on their hands and knees and the other child will jump over the other child and pretend to be a frog, and then they'll take turns and use this process to move forward. Leapfrog technology is a metaphor based on this child's game, or possibly even on just a frog, because frogs will tend to jump long distances at once. So a leapfrog technology is a technology that ends up being superior to the current technology, and that ends up in a superior position once it is implemented. And this is very common in the high-tech field, where people were using 8-bit computers, and then somebody came up with 16-bit, and then 32, and now we're up to 64-bit computers, when a lot of the applications don't even need the 64, but it's there just waiting for people to dream up things to use that technology. Or similarly, where you have people using older technology such as landline telephones, which have a fixed investment that the telephone companies want to kind of use up before they move on to new technology. Countries that don't have any landlines, that never even had landlines to begin with, they can get cell phone technology and use that instead of the landlines. So in that sense, they're leapfrogging the landline phase of telephone technology. And then presumably they can do this with cable TV and high-speed internet access. They can do it all by wireless, and so they never even need to have cables. So in a general sense, leapfrog is a verb, and it means to surpass or to overtake someone else, to move into a leading or dominant position. For example, a friend of mine was working for a company as a sales representative, and he leapfrogged the position of sales manager and moved right into VP of marketing because he was so good. Or it can mean to pass over some kind of stage or obstacle. For example, Tesla was offering to provide electricity right out of the sky. So if he was successful, we never even would have needed electrical wires. We could have just gotten the electricity right from outer space and leapfrogged the entire electrical grid. In the Apple iPhones, they've been relying on leapfrog technology to stay ahead of their competitors, because every time one of their competitors catches up with one of their old iPhones, they leapfrog into a new iPhone that's better than the competition. ESL-fullsteamahead.com